Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to another edition, another segment, another part of our fantabulous year-end special for 2014 here at Hallyujuku. We've spent an entire calendar year with you, and we decided to spend an entire week with you, talk about how the year that was in East Asian pop culture. This one's a very meaty subject, because we're going to talk about basically everything else. We're going to be talking about solo artists. We're going to be talking about duos. We're going to talk about collabs. We're talking about bands. Because when it comes to East Asian pop culture, it's very easy to kind of lump things up into there's boy idol groups, there's girl idol groups, and then there's everything else. But there's a lot to talk about, even with lumping like these groups, lumping these categories together. There is still a lot of meat to get into. So let's get started. Let's not prolong this, because otherwise we have another 2-hour episode. We might still.
I'm gonna give people that like insight. I scrolled down to our next list, and we've been looking at these lists for weeks. But then after realizing what happened with us with girl groups, and almost could have happened with us with boy groups, I went, "Oh shit, we're gonna have to keep this tight." Yes. And not just because, you know, I don't want us to not talk about it, but I don't want to give you a 4-hour episode. No one does. No interviews. Right, so let's just get started. Let's talk about a couple of debuts that happened this year that impressed us. Mm-hmm. Though they didn't do a lot, and they didn't make a big footprint, but they did impress us. Which was Yuna Kim and Jun Minju. Yuna Kim had some really cool stuff on her own, debuting solo. But this duo was really cool. Was a cool release that definitely caught my attention. Jun Minju is somebody that was talked about as kind of being little Boa, which was kind of a lofty claim, and I would say she didn't necessarily. Obviously, that's a big thing to kind of follow up on, but she actually did impress, and it was a solid track. She impressed with her vocals. There was a moment where I confused her with the guest male vocalist, because she was lip syncing the male. I was like, damn. I was sitting there impressed, like, damn, she got a deep ass voice. I'm like, that's interesting. That's cool. Like, somebody that is a bass, it's like a deep voice. Is like, no. Then I realized, like, no, it's the male vocalist. He just isn't on screen right now, and she's lip syncing. It's like. But still, they had a really cool song. They had a really cool song that I think impressed us when we listened to it. Yeah. No, I really liked it. Like, it I don't know. It was really good. I liked what I got from it. It wasn't. I'm already going to say, wasn't the thing that stood out to me this year in solo debuts, collabos.
No.
But I appreciated what I got from it. Mm-hmm. And I really like the next one, too.
The dance moves. And then we got another fantastic, impressive debut that really caught our attention with Lee Michelle coming out of, I believe, I forget which show, because there's like 13,000 audition shows at any given time on Korean media of different genres. But Lee Michelle was one that impressed on, I believe, K-Pop Star. Because that was one where she was an SBS K-pop star. She was one that continuously impressed the judges, continuously impressed with her performances, but didn't quite get the audience support that she needed, and ultimately got eliminated, causing kind of JYP to call people out on their bullshit live on the show. And part of that might have been to the fact that she is half black. She is a mixed race, and she came out with a release and she got her own. She had to kind of go through some troubles, because she was initially going to be in YG. She was going to be in a girl group with Lee Hi and a couple other members. That group got dissolved, and everybody but Lee Hi got kind of kicked to the curb. And then she had to find a new label, find a new agency, rework, prepare herself, and debuted with her own track that was a really impressive track, and it was a really cool song. The video was interesting. It really played well off of those struggles, and off of the kind of the
bullshit that she went through being, being mixed race. Like the fact that, the image of that mural on the wall and all those slurs written, if that were translated from Korean, all in Korean, these slurs that she had written on the wall, like marking that, and then like the little girl lashing out against that. And it was a cool image, and it was a good song, and it was definitely impressive. And I hope for more from Lee Michelle. She didn't really do a lot of stuff beyond this. I think maybe she had like an OST after this, or before this, or after this.
Yeah,
but this was still an impressive debut.
OST.
Yeah. But this was still impressive.
The bear's falling.
The bear, save the bear. But yeah.
All right. So something that was kind of a surprise for, all right. So the thing for me with Lee Michelle was I knew her from K-Pop Star, and then I remember the song, and then like you said, there was really nothing else.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of okay. Yeah, that was the year. And kind of that's what happened.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Lee Michelle. Impressive debut, and I hope for more from her. But as you were saying, something that surprised us.
It's one of those things where I'm gonna wait for more from her. But yeah, yes. So on to something that kind of surprised us a bit, like Ugly Pumpkin, which is a kind of a rap group duo collab thing. Is one of those things where they're one of the things where that's why we didn't know what to name this category. Yeah.
They're not a boy group. Like
no,
they're
not a boy group.
No, but they are rappers, and they are a group, and they are a group of musicians, and they are talented, and they do make cool, catchy music. And this song was a song that you go back and you go back to the episode where if you kind of search on our website and look for Ugly Pumpkin on the Hallyujuku. I think there's a search a thing on our website. I hope. I don't know. I haven't looked at my website. You can look for that. Between that episode and now, we kind of forgot about it, and I feel ashamed that we forgot about this song, because this song is such a fun, catchy song, and Ugly Pumpkin are hilarious and adorable and fun, and like they seem like such cool guys, and like they make such cool music. It's just so cool.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed the song from them, and I think it was the only thing we got from them, really.
Yeah, the only kind of main thing we got from them. And hopefully it's just that they kind of are doing things around, and I want to look for more. Let's see, Ugly Pumpkin. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to find things about them. Yeah, no. Can't find. It's hard to find everything else because it's just. But hopefully they're still doing their thing, and they're just composing and kind of preparing for their next release, because I imagine it's going to be fun and cool. And hopefully they're still doing their thing. But yeah, moving on to something else. Another really cool thing that we were that I know caught my attention as like teasers were coming out, and something that I knew was going to happen, mainly because I had been following tangentially Serene Lee, aka Casper, as she was kind of putting out her own things and mix tapes and releases.
Casper was your girl from this year, like early. That's all you would talk about. Was like, oh man, Casper, like, oh man, this chick Casper, like, oh, like.
Yeah, like I would bring her up, and it was like. Yeah, it was impressive. And then, like she was saying, she was on different YouTube pages, and on Solistic, she would appear on there, and she would talk about how she was preparing to debut in a group. And we kind of found out exactly what the group was. She finally announced it. It was Play the Siren on the label Baljunso. It's a label that ultimately it got some investment from SM, but it's still an independent label. Puts out some really cool, interesting artists, including the original band that was named H2O, which threw me off because there's a band called H2O on that label, and I'm thinking, hey, I saw that and I was like, hey, there's already a band called H2O. And then I looked up some information and saw that they predated the punk band by at least like 10 years. I was like, oh, okay.
Like,
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to disrespect you like that. No.
Please get back to what you was doing. I need to flip over your dinner table.
But Play the Siren was an interesting release because they were throwing out teasers of, including kind of their like pre-release track, which I think was a really cool track. And talk about how their upcoming kind of debut, teasing it. We found out that it was going to feature Luna, of all people, from FX.
Yeah.
And it came out, and it was actually a pretty cool song. It wasn't, they were on music shows, and it was this odd thing of like thinking, oh, but this is this underground group, and then like, oh wait, Casper's on a music show. What's going on? Like, I just know her as this YouTuber, and then suddenly she's appearing on music shows, and they definitely had a little bit of polish once they finally got in their debut, which is odd to see.
We also, like, some of their first performances, we were like, oh, those are phoned in. like not even pay phoned in. Somebody just picked up a cell phone and fucking text someone.
Yeah.
But once they kind of figured out their shit, like, and got it together, they were really good.
Yeah, they were pretty solid. And Casper, kind of under our constructed format in this video, did really well. Like we said, we kind of poked fun at her because she didn't know what to do with her hands.
What do I do with my hand?
But then again, we also followed that up by reminding everybody about Top's early days of this constantly, just this one hand, and then a kick, and then
oh yeah, I forgot I showed you those fucking like the fucking family outings stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so the early times happens to everybody, so there's nothing to be ashamed on, but we love poking fun of her. I think Play the Sign was a pretty solid debut this year, and I have to say, let's see.
But getting into the things that I think really kind of showed massive promise from this year, which is Lip Service.
Lip Service came out of nowhere.
So Lip Service kind of, like you said, came out of nowhere, was this kind of weird thing, but even as they went through the year, like, morphed into something else.
Yes. So we got this track, and we're told it's like, all right, this like kind of Eggo-filled hip hop sound, and it was called Yum 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 or Nyam Nyam Nyam. And it was very hip hop, very odd, and very kind of energetic. But like what ended up kind of slowly but surely winning me over was the catchiness, B, how legitimately good they are as like rappers, and how legitimately good the beat is. Like, and you know the dance move was the dance moves were solid. It was a fun song. It was a little silly, but it was different. Like, it didn't need to fit a mold of what's supposed to be hip hop or what's supposed to be K-pop hip hop. Like, it was kind of its own thing, and it was Lip Service's thing, and I dug it for that. And then it was a duo at first, and then they came out. They announced that they were going to have a new member. Released
that's
with
the thing that was really the big surprise was there's going to be a new member of this group that, you know, we kind of thought was already kind of established as a thing, you know?
Yeah. And they came out with Too Fancy, which was an interesting, I would say not it didn't blow our minds. It was interesting. It was cool, and I think over time won me over. I think the beat was cool, and they performed it well, and it is a catchy song. You know, it is a catchy beat and a catchy song, and the dance is well done, and of course the videos it are once again simple video, simple style, and when you see the live performances, you kind of see how having the third member can definitely contribute to kind of spacing out the sound and spacing out the performance. And I think and of course the one that I think that is easily forgotten, they also came out with another track, Puppy Love, which I don't know if they have a music video for it yet. They don't have a music video for it yet, but they did perform it on music shows. And it was just kind of a small release. It didn't kind of make a big splash, but it was a cute song. It was more of a traditional subject matter, but it was cutely done. It was well done, and it was sung well, and it was interesting. And this first opportunity to really show the 3-person dynamic, because Anna was kind of added to Too Fancy, but didn't quite seem like she was part of the formula that was supposed to make up Too Fancy. It was almost like if Too Fancy was made for the 2-person lip service, but they got the 3rd person in there, and they're going to add her into there. But
yeah, it seemed at its kind of beginning inception, it seemed a little bit forced, but once she kind of fit in, you know, in that sense, it worked really, really well.
Yeah. And also can throw Anna right in there with the Koreans in the music industry that I could mistake for Hispanic easily. Her, Ailey, Ashley. You tell me this girl was like Dominican, I believe you. You tell me she was Dominican or something, I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. I'm like, I'd buy it. That seems legit.
I share it.
But yeah, interesting stuff. Moving on to another debut this year, a solo debut. Not a new artist, but a debut nonetheless. Which was kind of one of the solo debuts of one of the main girls from Wonder Girls.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, kind of call this a debut. But her official first solo album, kind of coming out with her producer name, Hatzfeld. An odd name, but actually ended up impressing me, definitely, and I believe impressing you as well.
It impressed the fuck out of me. Like, I was just like, well, you know, originally I was like, that's a fucking another dumb name. And I think that's my trigger for, like, I should shut the fuck up, is when I think something's a stupid name. And I'm like, oh, that's a fucking dumb name. Why would you name it that? Oh, okay. It was the greatest thing ever. All right. Well, I'm going to shut the fuck up. You know, like.
So she came out with this song that if somebody told you the elements that make it up, you would say, there's no way that works. There's no way, that should not work. That should not work. It was like, it had elements of modern dance. It had elements of like electronic music, like some dubsteppy elements, and like R&B and like soul. And you think like, whoa, what? Like that just sounds dumb. But she made it work compositionally, and with the title track "Ain't Nobody," and it was a fantastic title track, and it was well performed. It was interesting. It was something that was out there, that impressed me. It was like musically. It engrosses you, it catches your attention, it kind of keeps you hooked in. It definitely is something that could, if given the opportunity, could have crossover appeal even more than say anything that is hip hop influenced in K-pop, just because like this is something that has some elements that really are in tune to what's like out there and popular nowadays. But it was well composed and well done, and the whole album as well is really cool and cohesive and interesting, and like knowing the fact that she had to fight JYP so much to kind of make it the way she wanted to make it was cool, and it was just made for a really impressive debut from Yanni.
Like I wholeheartedly agree. Like it was it surprised the fuck out of me that one, it was that good. And I mean, as long as Wonder Girls have been in the business, as long as they've been doing what they've been doing and they know what the fuck that they're doing, I don't know why I was so surprised by it. And I feel kind of bad that I was so surprised by it. You know, like it's one of those things where you're like, why was I so surprised by that? Like, it's fucking Wonder Girls. Wonder Girls knows what the fuck they're doing. Like,
yeah.
There's no reason I should be surprised that Wonder Girls knows what the fuck that they're doing.
But yeah, but it is definitely impressive to see somebody from like a group like Wonder Girls break out into their own and find their own sound. And that was definitely impressive. And of course, when we talk about debuts this year, when we talk about collabs or, you know, duos or, you know, these kind of artists that debuted this year and really impressed us, there's one big, you know, musical juggernaut that blew us over all throughout this year, multiple times, and from multiple angles, with multiple swings, which is none other than Far East mentioned Mannequins.
Oh my god, yeah, they fucking...
Femme.
Femme was such a surprise, and it was so good. Like, yes. God damn it. Like, the fucking anticipation for Femme now. Like, people are, like, so in love with them already. Like, it just is like, people want to vote Femme, like, ruler of the world already. Like, yes. They're like, okay, here's your office, here's the keys to my house, like, you can fuck my mom whenever you want, I don't care. Like, you're fucking awesome and amazing and, like, just, goddamn it, like.
Yeah. Like, the fantastic track. The one that caught a lot of people's attention, of course, was Fuck Boys Get Money.
Fuck Boys Get Money. Oh.
It kind of like, first of all, not only for being, I think, one of the only pop songs I've ever heard to make a reference to Shane Victorino of the Philadelphia Phillies, when, like, Victorino, like, he's in the, I would have to correct them. He's on the Phillies, so he doesn't quite win that as much as you think he does. But it's understandable. His name is Victory. But besides that, Fuck Boys Get Money was the twerk anthem that wasn't a twerk anthem, and it was so creative and fun and cool and well constructed. It is such a cool idea. Just in general, Femme is such a cool idea. It has a lot of elements that
and I mean, like, we thought it was weird. Like, let's not put that, like, let's not.
Yeah, it was weird.
We thought it was weird as fuck. Like,
yes,
there's no way around that we didn't think it was weird. But
when you start kind of peeling back and you realize how much of it is like, okay, this is the front of this, but this is also a huge kind of creative effort to kind of make really cool, interesting music and videos and fun videos. And it is songs and music videos that really fit in tune with what, you know, is popular around kind of in pop music. Like, there are, you know, it is weird, but there's a lot of weird music videos out there, and it fits in. And the girls are fantastic, and you get and not only Fuck Boys Get Money, and then that wasn't enough. And we found out that they had already released like 2 or 3 videos prior to this, and then they were just they could not be stopped. They were releasing music videos every couple weeks like, or even faster. Things like tracks like The Real Thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
like, it was one of those things where like shit came out so fast. Like it came, like it was like every week there was a new release from Femme, and it was good. And we were just like, what? Like, what? Can you do that? Like, is that acceptable to do? Like, can every release be that fucking awesome?
Yeah.
So
and it's like,
I mean, all right, for me, hands down, Femme wins the year of best.
Yeah,
solo.
Your best debut of like solo duo collab thing. Best debut, hands down, from us here at Hallyujuku. Yeah, there's so many videos. Go ahead and check out the videos. It's just so much entertainment, so much fun. But yeah, stamp it, Femme, the best. You the best.
You the best. You the best.
Swag, swag, swag.